She's laying back there all snoring, all innocent, like she didn't keep me up all night. And it was weird because it wasn't, I don't know, if it was that she was having some kind of pain or she's starving or what the hell it is. But I'll tell you, when we go out and walk now, oh my gosh, she just is got. It's like I'm out with her, and she's more like a puppy. She's like jumping around, she's running, like we're jogging on some of this stuff. Like she going up the hill, it's a very meandering. She's got to stop and do inspections. She wants to go up in everybody's yard. She wants to just go all through their stuff, and so we meander our way up the hill, and she keeps going and going, and then she wants to pull me into the forest. And she started pulling me yesterday, but I am telling you, there is something so fucking creepy lately to me in the forest. I don't want to go with just me and her. I feel like it's danger, danger, danger the whole time. And especially when you hear things. And it could just be birds moving around or something. But some of the stuff is and especially when you believe in things that you can't see. Like you have to be the same vibration to see them. Like they can creep around. And so and it's been just pouring and pouring and pouring, so it's totally muddy. And but she's just like, oh my god, it's so weird. And she just drags me up the thing. I'll be like, okay, let's turn around. She'll just drag me and keep going. And so, and then when I'll say, okay, let's turn around, and I have to be so forceful to get her to turn around. And she'll just keep going and going and going. And I don't even know where it is she wants to go. She's like hunting something all the time too, smelling stuff, and or tracking something. It's like, dude, I don't want to be tracking something in the forest. Just 100% don't want to. Oh my god, no fucking way. And then we come out, and she's trotting the whole way. So I'm running, like we're running down the hill, and then stop, take a break. Then she starts again, and I was like, dang, she's like, and then jumping and then trying to be playful. I was out like cleaning the yard, like with the poop, cleaning up the poop and stuff, and she had this ball. She was throwing it and jumping around, playing, running. It's like, oh my gosh. So I know she's got to be feeling good. Even though when she gets up and stuff, she will, like, her hips will be really stiff, and she'll be like, oh. And it could be that that's why she keeps waking me up, is that she's laying there and she gets stiff. It's so crazy how she made me get up. I went, and she goes and lays by her dish like I'm fucking starving. And at 4:45, so I go, start making my tea. I had to start boiling some rice because she almost had eaten all the stuff, so I needed to add something more to it. So I added a bunch of, it's like a spring mix that I needed to use up, and boiled it with some rice. And then she has this, it's like I made her like this shepherd's pie thing yesterday, and she ate almost the whole thing. So I was trying to, you know, add in some rice now to make it go a little further. And so I mean, they're doing that, and she's laying there and laying there and laying there, and then all of a sudden she gets up and just comes back over and goes to sleep. It's like, dude, see what I mean? Like, the amount of time that I can get to sleep is really minimal. Like, if I don't get sleep in the hours that she sleeps the longest, it's like I'm just out. I'm sweating right now, so hold on. I gotta turn off the heater. Oh yeah, I didn't ever even turn any music on. I feel so weird. I feel so weird. Like, God, everything is so weird. It is like you have to somehow keep yourself grounded to remind yourself that where you are or what you're doing or something. I don't know. Everything feels so weird to me. And so anyways, it was like I was up all night long. So anyways, I feel really out of it. And then plus it's just extremely sad right now. I really don't even know if I can handle even going on TikTok anymore. Like, I'll keep saying that, and then it'll be like, well, I know what's going on in the world, and I'll start looking, and it's like, oh my God, tragedy, tragedy, tragedy. But I've seen a few things where there's people talking about like we're about to have a big Wall Street crash. Like it's coming. Like you guys got to see this is coming. And they'll start explaining stuff. I don't know. There's stuff with Buffett buying certain things and selling certain things. Um, and I don't know. I would imagine he's not a good guy. Even though for a long time there's a lot of people who thought he was. But I I think he's one of them. I don't know if he's one of them, like a vampire or whatever, but he's under their spell of, you know, have money, be rich, and the peons don't matter kind of thing. But, you know, there was a thing about that, like he used to pay his secretary really well or something, I swear. There's a lot of things because my mom liked him. And she would say, some good things he did. But anyways, his name just keeps coming up and coming up and coming up through all this crash stuff. So I don't know how it's going to go for a lot of these people. Like fucking Kanye, like right now. I he's under fire. You know what I was thinking too is kind of weird is because like this whole thing with the music industry is just like, oh my gosh, just so much more about, you know, murder of Whitney and so much more of all these lawsuits and all these, I don't know, even Jamie Foxx is like real involved with these freak off parties and stuff like these and apparently I think it was Jamie used to film them a long time ago. And it's so weird too because he was like on Living Color. It's like how do they get a hold of some of these people and get them to go so dark, man? um so in those parties, it sounds like S&M man bashing kind of orgies or something. Like it was like super, I don't know. Some of these guys like to be plowed and some like to plow. I don't know. It's like, I have no idea what goes on in there. The thing is like when you follow your fetishes, it can take you in the dark, man. Like you gotta not just follow your impulses. But, you know, if you're here all about following your impulses and you're here to learn about that, you know, I would have been other lives that I had lived or other ways that I would know that. And everything is about learning things. So, I mean, I can't sit and judge, you know, you can't sit and judge them or something because, you know, we all did weird shit to learn the stuff we've learned. And so the lessons can be the hardest thing. And, but whatever, you know, we have all this being revealed to us, all this perviness and an insatiable perviness and a deep desire to own everything, like everything. And I would think, you know, for some people, I would think the need to own everything or hoard money or something probably comes from something inside of them where they had lack, where they didn't have something. So then they have a feeling of like that they need to, in order for them to have what they need, like that they could run out, you know, like the bottom could fall out, you know, anything could happen. But see, those are the things that your soul is here to learn. How to how to find peace when that nagging feeling is there. I mean, you feel like, okay, the bottom's going to fall. Because what I have noticed in this situation, like with what I'm in, you know, with the house and all that stuff, is you can look at it. Anything that you go through, you have multiple options where you put your energy, how you look at it. And it matters how you look at it and where you put your energy. And how you do is all about your lessons. It's about the consequences, the repercussions, the other side of whatever it is you're doing. And that is the thing, is like that we've been in such a drive for so long. And even when things were going wrong for people, you know, we kept going forward and not paying attention, you know, to the ones that were falling off. Because like homelessness has been going up and up. Our mental health has been going down and down and down. I just saw some statistic thing. It says that it was the hugest numbers, but it's like 2 men every minute do themselves in all day long. Like the numbers are huge, which you got to remember too. You can't do yourself in unless that's the way you're going out. Like it's impossible. You can't just make something happen that's not meant to happen. And so, but our society has gone so far, and we just kept, you know, chugging away, going the wrong direction for so long, and ignoring the things, you know, well, it's their problem. Well, they can't keep up. But that's the dog eat dog, rat race kind of world, which, oh, I just saw this video. One of the videos that I've been seeing lately is this guy who was sitting there painting live and just playing music, and he's painting live. You know, I kept seeing him and stuff, but his painting was like, and he just finished it because he's been doing it for a few days. And he just finished it. He's going to do some time-lapse thing, which if I see that video, I'll share it, because all his other ones were live, but the painting is so good. It's like if you took like a, what would that be? Like a jambalaya or something, and you turned it out, or what is it, like a boil? And when they do those crab boils or whatever they're called, a seafood boil, and you dump it out and all that stuff. And so he's got these shrimps and these corn and stuff. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'm just like, oh my God, that guy is a good painter. And then he has tons of paintings everywhere, and they're all different styles. It's not like he has these other ones that it's like doesn't go at all, because this looks like a picture. It's like he's painting it. It looks like so realistic looking. It's so good. And his plate, he was using a paper plate as his palette, and it was tripping me out how his paper plate, how he was having the colors on there. It looked like a painting on its own. It was like odd. And then I guess because I've watched his a couple times. Well, I didn't go into the live. I've just sat and watched it. So for some reason, I get a whole bunch of them. Like I just keep getting tons and tons. There's still lots of people who just sit there and paint, or either it's a new trend where a whole bunch of people now are like, well, I'm just going to sit and paint and play music. Maybe one person did it, now a whole bunch are doing it. But oh my gosh, some of these people are such good painters. Look, there's so many really good artists. There's so many really good musicians right now. Like the creative spark has been lit in humanity, and people are finding these sides of themselves. And, you know, I mean, this guy didn't just all of a sudden become an artist. This guy's been doing art for a long time, you can tell. And, but it is, it's like the direction that we're going in life is towards this creative, and it coming from in you. Like, you are the creator. And it's on all different levels. So it is like music, art, building communities. I guess that's another level. And it just kind of keeps going like that, of this direction of us going into a more creative kind of way. Oh yeah, and there's some other weird stuff with the sky stuff I had seen. That this one video I just saw just now, and this guy, he's the guy who was all over the place telling everybody to leave the a couple years ago. He was telling everybody, leave the Matrix, do this I think it was 010010 or something like that, and say these numbers. And it was even, they had a specific date. Like, on this date, make sure you say these numbers, because everybody who says these numbers is going to leave this matrix, and we're going to go. And I kept being like, okay, this is weird. And then the day came and went, and they were all still here. So anyways, he's still here. And so I just saw this video, and I don't know where he's from. I mean, he's darker skin. He could be from somewhere over in the Middle East. He doesn't have like an accent that I've really noticed. But anyways, right now, though, he's in the real. And so he was showing footage of, there's nothing going on here, you guys. This is just, people living their lives. There's not all this shit. And I didn't listen to the whole thing. I only saw that one little part. But the reason why I even was listening at all was because I thought he was about to show the sky thing. Because as he's turning his camera to start talking, as he's turning the camera thing, you see the sky. So he's out at the beach, and he's on the sand, and then there's a path where joggers are going by, and so he's showing them and stuff, like, look, people are just out here, like, there's no fucking war and shit going on here, and these people aren't worried at all. Everybody's just out living their lives, having a good time, especially out here on the beach. And so it was like sun was coming up. It was already over the horizon. So as he turns the camera, the sun looks really weird, for one thing, but you can see like the firmament or something, or either you see a planet behind it or something. And then so he turns away from it. So I was like, dang, what's he about to talk about? Isn't he about to show this weird sky? And then he just starts talking about showing the joggers and how it's just totally fine here, and don't listen. I think he's talking about don't listen to propaganda on the news. But as he turns it too, there was also another, it wasn't, I don't know, because if the sun was here and then the firmament bubble thing that you could see, if the light's shining and showing a reflection, because it was definitely a dome shape and it went down. But if it's a planet and we're only seeing a part of it, which also, think about this. I still have to keep taking these deep breaths. Think about this is, how is it, where is the other half? Like, if it's a planet behind the sun, where's the other half? Where is it? Like, I don't know how to, like, how I see it is like this water, but we don't have, it's not like how they told us, like the sun's going around the earth like this or something. It is, I don't know, it's so different. It's so hard, like, but it doesn't sit right in my head. And so it makes me keep, trying to figure it out. So it seems like these planes of existence, like I keep saying, like we're in realms and these planes of existence. And the earth plane is like a plane of existence. And we are all these different realities on this plane of existence. And so, like, even though they tell us it's like down here and the water's down here and stuff like that, then to me, it's like, well, where is this thing out here? So is there stuff under here? Like, we already know that there's more, there's an inner earth and all that stuff, which is other realms. And they've got all these opening up, like another one over, I think by China opened up. One was a sinkhole. This is a cave. And they're going in these things and finding other worlds. So other vegetation, other things, like just like finding those iridescent animals. Oh yeah, in this video I just saw, this was so cool. So it must be in Africa, and it was a tour, and there you go and walk with the lions. So it must be on a preserve kind of thing, because they had named the lions, and the guy who's walking them, which was a couple of guides, and they don't have any weapons or anything. They just have like a walking stick. And then if the lion comes, you put the walking stick in front of you. And then he said you always make sure you smile at the lions. So they read your, um, they read, they read us. Like that is more of a natural thing. And maybe it is like when you are showing a different reaction. Like if you're smiling, then you're automatically showing something. But you, in order to make a smile, then I don't know, you can't just, I think like if you make a smile, you kind of create the feeling behind the smile. You can put on a fake smile, but then it's not really a smile. So, because then it's just kind of like, but if you're like, then it changes. And so if they're reading like that, like there's nothing to fear, this isn't, they're not scared of you, don't be scared of them. Because if they pick up on a sense of fear or something, then there's, I think, instincts and impulses and stuff. But anyways, I don't know. I'm just saying what I think. And but the cool thing when they were walking was it was 3 males, and one of them you'd think was a lioness, but I don't know. It didn't have all the mane, so I guess it was like a big white tiger. So there's 2 big giant lions with giant big manes were walking, and it's so cute too because Stella walks like, when I see them walking, it's like it just looks like Stella walking. But I know that life that she had as a big cat, and I still see those kind of remnants in her personality too. But she, so these cats, they come up, and the tour people who have their phone, who are showing, it makes them nervous because these lions come running up, and like one guy's like, "Oh, we're just supposed to hold a stick," like, and then and the tour guide's talking and telling him stuff. And as they start going, so then the lion, they kind of look at them, and then they just kind of start walking, and they all start walking together. So you're just out walking this trail with these lions. And the cool thing was, though, is how the lions would jump on each other like play. And he said that the reason they do that is it's like a practice their hunting skills. And so like the 2 big main ones were walking in front of the guys walking, and not like way in front. No, they're like walking right with them. And I don't even know how much you pay for this tour, and I don't know if people ever get killed on it or whatever. But so the white one, the one I guess is a tiger, it's kind of like prowling next to him, and then it comes jumping out and jumps on top of one and jumps over them. And when the 2 lions were walking, like the one lion and a tiger started walking when they very first started, and they were kind of like more in the bush, and the one lion comes running up, jumps on the one's back, jumps over. It's like these kittens playing, only they're giant. And it was that was really cool. I'll share the video just because it was really cool to see. It's like, I don't know, you just don't think of big lions out there playing around like that. But he said it's a kind of play that helps them become better hunters. And so anyways, that was really cute. But some of the things why I don't even want to be on TikTok is like, oh my God, the amount of babies dying. It's like, oh my God. And I know it's for the people. It's just so fucking sad. It's so sad because so many people don't understand what's happening here. Oh, so sad, man. People are so lost in life. Fuck. So, tons of babies. Like we have like this group of babies that are way advanced. Like that was going to happen, but then you have a lot coming in. Oh gosh, so sad. You have a lot coming in and then leaving early, because we think, if you have 6 weeks on the earth, that's not very long. 3 months isn't very long. 6 months isn't very long. But for each of the people that goes through it, that's part of their tragic awakening. It's a part of, what is supposed to bring them to themselves. And it's just sad because so many people, this stuff is all keeps happening to, and none of them really know, and then plus there's such a misdirection happening in our civilization. So, like people think they're being punished. Like, I think it is, I think there's so much value in understanding destiny. Like, that everything has a purpose, everything is happening for a reason, and the reason, you don't have an effect on that reason. It's not like I could get up this morning and I do something different and I'm going to change everything. No, it's still going to play out how it's going to play out. That, I'm on the ride, so it's going to go how it goes. It's more about us learning how to find peace or understanding of what this place is and what we're doing here. So, a lot of people, and there's also a lot of karmic stuff, like full circle stuff. And it is like, man, it's like, like a for instance, that you could just say a for instance, and I'm not saying this is someone's true story, but I'm sure it's a true story for some people. But in their past life, I could have had kids, and it could have been, that they sold, they were poor, and they didn't know how to get out of it, so they sold them. Or some people, did their kids in when it became overwhelming. Like, there was a lot of bad stuff that happened. And so you only get part of the lesson when you're the person who reacts to something. Because oftentimes people feel like, they had no choice. Well, what was I going to do? I had no choice. I had to. We would have all died. We wouldn't have made it, all of that kind of thing. But that is you telling yourself those things, because that's not how the universe works. And so the the people who do something like that, and then they come back, and then it's getting this different value. It's like a different experience, because it makes an experience whole. And so you gave something away, but then something was taken from you. And so it's more so you get the full view, because otherwise you're only getting a partial view as a soul. And you got to remember, like, all this stuff feels so real, but none of it's real. So it feels real. It feels like you're really losing this child, but, as soon as you get out of the game, that person is there. They're not a child, but they're a soul, and they're there. So you didn't lose anything. It's a part of the story that you're trying to learn from. So all the horrific lessons that you go through are you are the creator of it. It's like it's like hard to explain, kind of, because it's like we're in a replay. It's like the stories were created, but then I think, are we all just sitting there writing out these stories or something? Or is it just like we're going into templates, and then but the thing is it's kind of like you go into this template story, like, man, because it's like the stories are created in the heavens. What I don't see us sitting there with paper writing it out. It's like created, just like how I said with telepathy. It's like you're sending messages back and forth. You're not typing it out. Okay, and now will you tell me, you just send those messages, like a questioning thing, like man, it's hard to explain, like how some of this stuff is, like in communication and stuff, and you know what we're doing here and how we got here and why it is you can't change things, and why it is like you have all these super spirit people who think like, you know, you just jump timelines, you just do this, you do that. It's like, I'm telling you, if that was possible, I would have done it a long time ago. Um, it's destiny. It's about you getting comfortable with what's going to play out, and also getting comfortable with the fact that you knew what was going to play out. It's like you wrote the story, and so however it's going to play out, it's already set. You were in like the slowed down version of what was written. So in all the different things, because even on the part where people think that they can leave the matrix and they can leave their storyline and jump on somebody else's storyline and stuff. Why does somebody else's storyline look better to you, for one thing? That's something that you need to look internally and question. Like, why am I always looking at everybody else's life thinking, well, they got it better. They got it better. And I think it's a part of like human characteristic. So it's not like you're doing something weird or anything. I think it's just something that happens in this environment and this vibration. So it's something for us to evolve, to kind of not exaggerate, but let go of, to evolve out of. So what was that? There was something I had just seen. This person, there's one person who's saying that they just had prophesized something happening, and it happened when they said whatever they said happened. I don't know, a couple days ago. I don't know what it is, but and they are showing their tweets. So they're on Twitter, but they're doing this TikTok, and I saw them live on TikTok sharing their tweets. So I didn't sit and listen to the whole thing, but I was trying to read his tweets. And he was saying that either yesterday, today, or tomorrow. So in this 3-day range. So from 6/4 to 6/7, I think, or 6/6. Maybe it was 6/4 to 6/6. That there's going to be a huge earthquake. It's going to be the Cascadian one. So it's going to be the one that does my place. So you can see why I was trying to listen to what he was saying, because it was the Cascadian fault line he was talking about. Is going to have this huge earthquake. It's going to create this tsunami, and it's going to affect the San Andreas fault, and that's going to start this earthquake thing in California. So I don't know. There's today and tomorrow in his thing, and you know, and I don't know how, whatever it was that he had seen before. Like, I don't know if he's really, because there's so many people who have made these different prophecies and had these different dreams. Like, but I still, even though people were like, well, New York's going to be underwater, you know, a few years ago, I still think it's going to end up underwater. I think all these different places are going to end up underwater. California, here where I'm at, and all these different places are going to. And I have thought that for a while is, the firmament being the water, and it is like, like when you put a dome and it creates the water inside the dome, and then so we have water, it kind of drips up from wherever this is, and then the water is outside of it. If as the firmament weakens or becomes more dissolvable or something, it's all based on our frequency, because it's our containment. And so as it becomes less, then there's more water. And I had thought for a long time, well, when this thing happens, that the firmament would go, and that would release all this water, and then the ice wall is going to melt, and that's going to release all this water. So the water is going to keep going up, and there is so much fucking things in the water. Like, you got to think of the water as not just our playground. The water is other worlds. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is all stacks of worlds. Like, you got to look at the ocean as a whole nother world. I mean, when you're entering it, yeah, you're going in with the creatures that live in that environment, in that space. And they have their own environment. Like, we're entering into, you know, another realm when we go into their space. And so just this video I had seen, these, I've seen so many of these weird fishing videos with people out on the waters and stuff. Like, I've seen a shark jump in a boat. This one, my stomach is growling. This one was it's weird because this is the second one I've seen like this big blow up toy thing. So this one big blow up toy thing, and I've seen these toy out at the lake and stuff. It's like this big white, I don't know, unicorn or dragon or something. And so it's like a little boat thing with a head or something. It's like a kid's toy to play in the water. And the first time I saw it was a few years ago, and some boaters were out, and a kid was in it and had gone way, way out. And they had to rescue the person on it, this kid. This one was the same kind of toy, only it was a man on it who was fishing. He was fishing off this raft in the ocean. And so this boat of fishermen, which I've been on the ocean fishing. I like one of the times we went to Mexico, my brother had wanted to go on a deep sea fishing trip or something. So we all paid and went on it. And we all went on this big trip thing, or this big fishing thing, which, you know, now I just think, oh, this is so sad, man. So this guy is, the boat meets up with the raft thing, and they start talking, and the guy's got his fishing pole, and he's like, you know, well, I've caught something. And the people are like, well, it's drug you out. You're 2 miles from shore, and you want us to pull you back in? It's like, well, what else are you gonna do? Like, fuck, 2 miles from shore on a little raft in the ocean? Like, I've got a real problem with open water. Like I've said about a zillion times. Like, I know in that life, because that psychic had told me that she gave me a lot more information, you know, like I was a gypsy, I was a criminal, and I was, I used my looks to fuck people over, and whatever I had done on this boat, I got stabbed, and then they threw me overboard. And so, you know, these fears of knives and open water, I'm sure, you know, no telling how I died in that. Especially you get thrown over bleeding. And then you see these videos of this guy showing what happens when they throw stuff over. It's like, everything comes. It's like, oh my God. I'm sure it was really horrible ending. So, anyways, it gives me a huge panic about the open water and stuff. So this guy out here like this, like, what the fuck, dude? It's like, but, you know, some people don't have an off switch. Like, I was thinking about this with food even. Some people don't have an off switch. Like, you want to have that little sense of guilt. Like, oh, I've eaten too much. I need to stop. It's missing in some people. And they're eating themselves into oblivion. I can't even believe how many people are, hundreds and hundreds of pounds that they are either have lost or trying to lose. There's so many people who have just really let themselves go and never getting to that point of like, oh, I grew out of my genes. I better, I don't want to grow out of the next ones. I better watch what I'm eating. It's like, you know, but we all have something to figure out. So the guy in the raft says, yeah, you know, I would like you to pull me back, but you know, I can't hear all the conversation, what's going on with them. But the guy goes, well, you want us to reel it in for you? So he's like, yeah, take the pole. And then they're going to hook on his raft or something. So the guy's still in the fucking boat. I mean, still on his raft. Hands the fishing pole to the guy on the boat. And the guys on the boat seem like, I don't know, kind of drunk fishermen, like laughing about everything. Oh my God, it's so funny. And this to me is like, I'm just like, this is disaster waiting to happen, man. It's like, it's all about awareness. And maybe it wouldn't be a disaster. And I don't even know if there was. But it sure seems like there's one in the making. So the guy starts reeling it in and reeling it in. And they're like, oh man, he's really got something here. This thing is big. It's big. So they're starting to reel it in. The thing starts jumping up and fighting now, because that's when you go on these deep sea fishing trips, that's what it's all about, this giant fight. You're fighting. They'll strap the people into the fucking things. They've got straps that take turns, and it's always the person, like you have these assistants that they'll sit there because it's really hard. You're like battling this fucking giant thing. And so you'll have these assistants come out and they will, you know, be helping you and stuff. And sometimes there's people who I think, like some of these deep sea fishermen, like rich guys that, you know, kind of hang out on the boat and have their pole and have someone man their pole. And then when something gets good, they just want the part to pull it in. They just want the big part, you know. But that is like a part of our society too, that it has to be like. So this thing starts fucking jumping. It's a giant ass shark. The fucking giant ass shark jumping. This guy's fucking having this thing. Is yeah. It's just like, oh my God, you went out there 2 miles. That thing could have dove down. Like, I don't know. I would think it would have pulled the thing out of his hand. I don't know what he had it tied to. I don't even know if he just, it had caught on and then it felt something. Because so many times there's so many whales and sharks and stuff, dolphins, that they pull up and they have hooks. And I don't know. It's like I see humanity interfering with other beings' realms and stuff. Because, you know, those things are like what you think of as aliens. Like octopus and all these different things are having experiences. And it's a totally different experience in that realm. And so anyways, if that thing was just pulling him out for a ways, it's like, dude, fuck, you would have gotten pulled out of that. Oh my God. That is just like, people just don't think things through or something. Like, you talk about a near miss. What was that one too? I just saw a guy who was like, I almost got killed. You can't get killed. Nothing can happen to you. And the near misses is so you can see that. So you can see something. And there's so many like crazy things happening. Like there's one, a woman died in this nursing home. This old lady died in this nursing home. I don't know. She was 80, 78, 80 years old or something. And so many people are mineral deficient from the time they're in their late teens or early 20s. And so, you know, living their lives, that's a pretty long time, you know, 60 years or something, living in mineral deficiency. So, anyways, I guess it all depends on when your hair starts changing, but it can be other things too. Because it affects your skin, your bones, all of your stuff. So anyways, she dies in this nursing home. And I always thought that the coroner had to come and pronounce somebody dead before you could move them. But I don't know if it is in like I can't remember. Like in the hospital, if somebody died, it was like you just got them fixed. Like you weren't there for the whole thing. And sometimes their family would come. I don't know. But I remember an aide one time. It was a patient who died, and she was in there getting them all fixed, and she was saying something about um, the funeral home was going to come pick them up. So whatever happened with this, so they said she was dead, and they sent her to the funeral home, and so they said she died at like 9:48. The funeral home came and picked her up, and so at 11:48 in the funeral home, on one of those slabs, that she was awake, she was up, she was breathing and stuff. So she was sent to the hospital, and so then there's all this like, do they not notice? Did she come back from the dead? Like, what's going on? Like, how did this happen? Did they think she was dead and she wasn't? Was she not pronounced it? So I don't even know all the story on that one. There's going to keep being more weird things like that. There keeps being more weird things like that. So many things where you hear people say like a miracle happened to them. And that is a part of their awakening, a part of them to realize like their soul and what this place is and stuff. So, you know, it can happen with bad things, but some of the things with the bad things, like when bad things are happening, it's putting things back into balance. It's showing you another side of something that you didn't have the awareness of. And I'm not saying like all the people whose babies are dying that they deserve it. They probably did something bad in a past life. That's not what I'm saying. Is that's not what it's about. We aren't good or bad. That's not how the universe looks at us. They don't look at it as like everything is lessons. Everything is like it's like for your own information, for your own inner knowing. You want to know all the things, right? You want to know everything. You want to just know a little part, a little piece. And so that is how the universe is. It doesn't want to just know the good things. Doesn't want to just know what you're doing when you're, you know, successful. It wants to know the bad things. It wants to know, how do you get there? How do you make those decisions? What happens? How does this lead to this? How does that happen? That's what we are here playing out. It's like we're showing it, but we learn from it and it advances us. Oh yeah, this one lady I saw in this interview, I was trying to picture who was the guy who was interviewing. I'm sure this has got to be something off of Gaia channel. And I think it was one of that's who the interviewer was, if I'm seeing the right person. So I'm sure this is something on Gaia channel. It was this woman, and I don't know who she is or anything, but she's on there. She's being interviewed for some reason. And so they were saying something. She was saying something about the different souls. And so she is saying that there's earth souls. So there's souls that just come to learn their lessons through earth, through the earth plane or something. And she says there's even like a soul nursery or something, like new souls that we're taking care of in heaven so that they can come and see. When I hear people say some of this stuff, I think this is how they're perceiving the information that they're receiving. It's how they're perceiving, just like with me, like the things I'm saying is how I perceive the information that I receive. And so you know, I don't know about that, because to me everything is energy and everything is different states of consciousness, and there is a natural progression in, you know, in the souls become, just like how we are becoming more conscious, more conscientious of ourselves, and more aware, and making different decisions for ourselves, being more like, oh man, that's kind of impulsive, I don't want to do that. Well, that's kind of this, that's kind of like looking at ourselves in a different way. And so that's an expansion. That is where, you know, we're moving things. It's like a creation of a whole new way of being. And that's what we're doing. And so anyways, I don't know about like, you know, baby souls and stuff like that. I see it as like energy and how we affect each other. And there's so much with the pets. And there's so much with different states of consciousness. And, you know, like say with the plants, say I give them respect, I talk to them, I love them, and take care of them. and they're at a certain state of consciousness, which plants are very conscious of their environment. And so they're at a certain state of consciousness. And then we are caring for them and loving them and stuff and helping them to move up in further states of consciousness. So, and it's an expansion of the soul, the light energy or something. So, that's how I kind of look at it. Not like, like there's a little machine birthing out souls. I look at it as like it's energy that becomes a soul. It's like, and it becomes a soul by its own awareness. And so, anyway, she's saying that, so there's some souls that are just earthlings. They just come and go through this whole earth cycle to learn. They've done thousands of lives. Like, that's so funny how some people think, well, I think I lived before. You've lived thousands of lives. Like, that's like somebody saying, well, I think I had a dream once when I was a child. It's like, no, you have thousands, thousands and thousands. So you have lots and lots of lives. I mean, it just depends on, if you have the ability to tap into the knowledge that you learned in the different lives. And that's where all your knowledge comes from. That's where all these parts of your personality come from, these different lives, these different experiences. So it becomes a part of you. That's why I say, like, your DNA, it becomes your structure. And you're very unique. Like, we don't go all and live at all the same times, the same experiences, the same lives and stuff. You're very unique in the things that you have done and how you've experienced and what you've grown and what you've shared with the universe and all that. So it is, it's not just like, I don't know, like you have one group who has a certain way of looking at it, but it's this other way. Like, it's a lot more constant of you experiencing, living different lives. And that's weird because the higher self, like I said, the higher self who can express out a whole bunch of different life experiences. So create a whole bunch of different beings to have a life experience. I just all of a sudden saw, like, if they can pick and choose, like, that one's going to go there, that one's going to go there, something. Like, I don't know. It's, I don't know. But anyways, you have an identity of self when you can find yourself, and that's what we're in this time of people learning to find themselves. And so she said, so you have these earthling souls that just primarily live here and learn and grow and experience here. And then you have these ones that she said, I don't remember if she called them galactic or whatever, but she said these are more like the starseed ones. So these souls, those are the ones that always feel like they're in the wrong place. They don't know what they're doing here. This place is weird. And which is, tons and tons of people. And so those ones are all, they go and do all their different lives in all different places. So they've gone out and done lives all over the place. And so this is just like, it's like more of a traveler, more of a, like the wanderers. See, that is what they call, I think, the wanderers, but some people can say starseeds, light workers, or whatever. But anyway, so she said that there's some souls that are that. And then there's the other souls that come from the angelic realm, and they are here just to help push unity, love, acceptance, and all that stuff. So, I mean, I have always been more in alignment with that, like even way back in 2016 when I was doing something in my room and I turned and I looked in the mirror and there was it wasn't me standing there. I was a man and I was an angel. Like, it was this, I had these big wings and I all of a sudden I just saw myself as like, oh, okay. And then So it's like a representation of an ideal or something to you. But it's an energy. It's what the energy you carry. That's why I say, like, I feel heavy on the light. Like, the dark is very uncomfortable. And it's not like what the other people say. Like, yeah, it's uncomfortable to be anywhere that feels different. Like, it's hard. It's hard, man, to watch some of this shit go on. Like, it fucking rips. Like, for some of us, this rips our hearts out. Like, this is so fucking hard. And the amount of people like dumping their animals, like, that's one thing that I'm having the worst, hardest time on TikTok, is this, what's going on with the animals. It's so, oh my God. There's there's a shelter coming out right now, as I don't know, whistleblowers coming out, that they say that they're a no-kill shelter, but that they are, they kill tons of them. They just decide which ones, because they're all healthy. There's nothing wrong with them, you know, and this is their solution. Just kill them, kill them. And I know that those souls are there to teach us, but, you know, some of us feel the lessons a lot different than some of the other ones. And it's so wild, you know, because the people who are doing these things, they're going to have, there's repercussions. Don't fucking kid yourself. If you think you can just go around killing things and, you know, God doesn't mind, the universe, you know, and it's not like the universe is going to punish you, but it's like you get over to the other side, you get to your life review, then it's like, you know, like you see what you've done. You see it in a whole new way. And so all these people who are just fucking killing these animals and killing these animals. And then you have these people who are going way out in the middle of nowhere and dumping them. It makes me feel so sick. Because I can feel it from the animal's perspective of what it feels like when something gets them. Some of them tie them to things. Probably because every time they tried to drive off, that the dog kept chasing them. And they maybe some of them think like, well, somebody will find them, or they're on their own. Like, I don't know what gets somebody to get to that point. Like, Winston drove me crazy. Like, because it was like he could never, it was like having a very, like, he wasn't firing on all cylinders. And so it could be very frustrating, but I know, you know, that I don't think I knew the whole time, but I definitely have learned that all those challenges are for us to learn patience, learn to not be judgmental, not to have bias, like all those things, all these challenges that we go through are there to teach us. So it's not like, oh my God, I got another stupid one, I'm just gonna go toss them out because they don't matter. No, it matters. It all matters. And one of them, this guy, he was driving out in the desert, and these two huskies went running. So he stopped his car, he got out and tried to call him and get him to come, and they just took off running. And he showed, like, there is nothing, nowhere. He's like, they won't. It's just so sad what people keep doing, man. And so and then on all day long, all these, I don't know if they're rescue people, they just keep putting all these different dogs on. Please go adopt these dogs. And some of these places, like, there's so many in Texas, there's so many in certain places. And I don't know, there's just, fuck. It's like you want to be able to save all these different animals. There's a place that was, this person lives in Northern California, and they said one of their neighbors had just gotten busted. And she said it was the weirdest thing, too, because the woman was sitting out on her porch smoking something as a sheriff drove by. So the sheriff's just driving by. And another weird thing is all the neighbors had been turning this person in. So I don't know if that's why the sheriff was driving by. But she's out in a rural kind of mountain town. And because she's always showing different stuff. And so the sheriff drove by, saw this person smoking, which I was like, what were they doing? Like freebasing? Like if you're just sitting there smoking, why would the sheriff think like, oh, must be drugs? I was thinking it would seem like you would have to be doing something that looked like, freebasing or something. I don't know. And so I don't know what she was doing, what she was smoking, why the sheriff was like, oh, she's smoking drugs. And so stops, goes over, to talk to her or whatever. And in this interaction, um, she gets busted, and then they come and find that she has 85 or 75 dogs, and she has crates, and all these crates are like stacked up, and so the dogs like above are going to the bathroom down on the dog's blood. It was very, very disgusting. It was so disgusting. And she was also people's pets that would go missing, that she was keeping them. Like a person's dog got out, she would catch it and keep it at her house in these crates. So I don't know. She must have been like mental. And she's arrested now, and they took all these dogs. And since it's this lady's neighbor, she was saying, she had seen what was going on, and she was like, it's so fucking sad. And they took a huge amount of them to a shelter. And then she said there was a huge amount that they're just going to put down. Like, I don't know if it's because they're so sick or what, but the place was really disgusting. And how many of these, are just around. Yesterday, we went out to go on one of our walks, and while we were standing over there, we were still in the meandering phase. She's still over there sniffing grass and playing in it and stuff. She loves to play in grass, this tall, tall grass. And so which that's what those lions were just doing. And all of a sudden there was all this like dog. It was horrifying. I was just standing there like, oh my God, is there about to be a pack of hyenas coming around this corner? Do we have a big giant thing of loose dogs or something? What is going on? And I have no idea where all this sound was coming from. And there was all these dogs like yipping and barking and making all this. And it sounded like it was loud. And it got Stella's attention too. She was looking, and we were both just standing there looking, waiting to see what was going to happen. I was like, is this in someone's house? Like, does someone have this going inside their house? Like, they have like 50 dogs in their house? I don't know. Like, and then, you can't go around like and go door to door. It's not our business. That's the thing, as souls. Like, that's these people on their own soul journey. The hard thing is watching some of this stuff and watching the pain and suffering that is created by some of these souls that are learning some of these lessons. It's like, fuck. So on the TikTok, it's just like horrible animal things, one after another. And so many of these beautiful, healthy, sweet, cute dogs, and they keep showing them, today's their last day. Somebody better adopt them, and they're being put to death all motherfucking day long. I'm like, this is too goddamn much, man. This is depressing. And then intermingled with those is one after another, women whose husbands are cheating on them, or their baby just died, or they've just lost everything. It's just like, oh my God, TikTok tragedy. Like, but that shows too where we're at. Like, we're really at this shift time. Like, everything is falling apart, and everything falling apart is what shifts us in the other direction. It is, because I have said before, I have felt like I was from the light. I've never been comfortable with some of the stuff. And so I definitely think I'm a soul that comes from the light, that came to bring in the light. And I don't know if some of the ones like Starseeds, they're also here to share what they know from, because like, we're in a very low realm, like the earthling realm, which is weird. So all the people who are here learning, but fuck, the lessons are so hard. The souls are advanced. So it's not like, oh, well, the earthling souls, they're just the lower ones. No, I think that it is, they've learned a lot, but it's like they haven't, it's like, it's like this is, it's like this is the time of a reevaluation of all you've learned. And this is a time of putting it all together, because all the earthling souls have definitely learned hard shit. Like in some of these other places, like where star seeds and stuff from, some of these other galactic residences that you can go and experience in these other places, that they have certain things that they learn. And so it's more of trying to learn, or trying to help people learn how to have love and compassion and stuff for others, because here it's so heavy on the dog eat dog world. I mean, everyone's out for themselves. And so all this other energy is coming in to bring this other part, because it was only getting some of the story. So more light has to come in, but it's not like any of the souls are better than any of the other souls. It's like, it's all about the lessons and how you learn. So it's, and there isn't just like dark souls. The dark energy is, if it's called the archons or whatever, but they're not like us. They're not conscious of what they're doing. They are just existing. Like, it's like everything is energy, so everything is alive, but it's just it's a different kind of energy, and it will, because it's kind of how it's tricky, and it's all consuming, and it feeds through, like, impulses, like the fetishy kind of stuff. So it sucks people in. But when people are driven in that direction, it's because they have lessons to learn. So even if they're driven in this direction of perversion or whatever, that's what they were supposed to do. They were going to always do that because there was lessons that they were going to learn from that. So it's not like, oh, well, those people, they're all just bad because they're doing that. No, a big part of what we're learning is that there isn't good or bad. That's not how the universe looks at it. That makes you more primitive when you keep looking at things as good or bad, because there is no good or bad. We all come up with our own view of things, and our views are based on our understanding and our experience. But you can also learn from other people's experiences, but you have to put down your biases and judgment in order to learn from other people's experiences. Otherwise, you're just judging them. Oh, they should have done it different. They should have done this. They should have done that. Like, even with all of these dogs and stuff that people are dumping out, I try and have compassion for the people and try and understand, like, and know that, they've got some big lessons to face, uh, being like uncaring like that or something is hard for the soul when it sees itself like doing things like that. So it is, but the thing is, in the game, you get so many people feel backed in a corner. And especially, like, one of the things they have going too is about the money and stuff, and how that can get people backed in a corner. But those people who are saying that there's this one guy I had seen, I'll look for his video too. He was saying something about the Bitcoin, which he was saying BlackRock owns that. Like I said, that that coin thing was created. It was like It's like they had to create their own way of paying for like red rooms and stuff. And red rooms, remember what I talked about with the red room. If you don't know what that is, then go look it up. You know, and you can watch what it is like on Hostel, those movies that shows you what that is. And the people who partake in this, you know, this party is they have to pay. So you have to pay, like if you they have a chair, like a dentist chair or something, a torture chair, and you'll have like a little kid. God, these people are horrible. But you just gotta keep reminding yourself, like, all these souls come in for this shit. They so then they can use their coins, and they can go into this thing, and then they can use this that supposedly can't track them. So you're not using like your credit card, because that can track back to you. So it's like they have this way of buying these things that are supposed to be untrackable. So you could pay for a bunch of criminal shit and it wouldn't be linked back to you. They couldn't get a hold of you. So that's what that was created for. And then, you know, they get everybody to jump on like, oh my God, that's so cool. Yeah, I'm going to buy that and invest in that. It was like such a huge thing about investing into it and stuff. But was everything that's dark is going to fall apart. And yeah, that's dark. And I mean, it was created for darkness. It was created to hide. It was created as a mask so people could do horrible things without being seen. And so they use that money so that they could go into the game and then say, oh yeah, well, you know, cut off his right finger. And God, oh God, it's horrible. If you have not ever seen that movie, there's 3 of them, and I've heard that they've been like they've washed them. Like it's hard to find them, but you know, Hostel, 1, 2, or 3, and you can see what these people do, and so, and it's in other movies too. They show this in other movies, like, and plus some of these places have been busted now. That's how I have found out about the coin thing. Is that's how they found one. It was in like Poland or something, and this was in the news. It was around 2020, I think, and it was some teenagers, and they had used some of those coins and got into a place. And I don't remember how it all went down now. I mean, you could look it up, but it's like an international newspaper. And then, so however this broke it down, they found the room, and they went into this room and found, you know, it's a torture chamber. And that's what these things are, and they're all over the place. Like they're what was that one, the pizza place called, the one there's been so much talk where that all was real. The gate, that thing that they talk about is that's all real. Like, and they try and tell us like that's not real. Oh, it's real. And down there in that basement underneath, they had one of those rooms too. They're all over the place. Like, I'm sure. Like, I think even in that, what is that? The synagogue over in New York, where they were busting all those rabbis and stuff and saying, oh, they built tunnels because in quarantine they couldn't get to church, so they built tunnels. And so when they're going through and busting up these things, and they found like beds where it was all blood on it and stuff like that. So wherever, you know, they pop these places up to, that's what they do. It's just, I don't know, we have such a dark society. with so much perversion and not caring about other things that are alive, not even looking at them like they have value when they're alive, like with the pets and stuff like that, and kids and uh, there's so much of, and all these things all coming to the surface is like for this reevaluation. So you look at things and understand things differently and see the value of life, learn to give it value. And but you know, the people running it, they didn't give it value, and so they were misleading us and, you know, wanting us to feel hopeless and helpless because our souls aren't advancing. Well, you are always learning, no matter what. They can't take that away, because you would still end up going into your life review. You'd still be able to learn from your stuff. But that keeps you it is kind of like a reincarnation prison when you think of that interference that keeps you from being able to advance like how we're advancing now. But it was always meant to be that way. So it wasn't like it could ever have been different. It had to go that way. But now we're at this time where it is this self-reflection time to look at things differently and to see things in a broader perspective, to see the value of life, of living, of respect, of love, of partnership, of community. And what was that? It was something, I think it was the old movie I was watching. And it was like a lot of them, there's like a lot of small towns and stuff. And there's so much connection. There's so much connection. That's why they wanted to move us out of little townships and little boroughs and stuff like that. They wanted to move us into more condensed, like get us out of our little our little safety places and bring us out into the open in the cities. But see, coming into the cities, you're chasing something. So everybody's chasing something. So they start creating that dog eat dog world, which just keeps people paired up against each other. I mean, so many people hate their neighbors. They hate everything. And so, yeah, we don't have a sense of community where you feel like you belong, or you, and then when you see like how it is or was, you know, and people all knew each other. Like you could go down the store if you didn't have any money and say, hey, I'll pay you next week. And be like, yeah, take what you need. Like it was so different, like how we live now. Now we have corporate, you know, they're not going to let you out of the store. They're going to arrest you. And I just saw this guy, and I've seen him a lot of times talking about the housing market. And he's in Oregon. And he's talked so much about the absurdity of what's going on. And this video, that was different, because this one was about a cop. So he was showing absolute worthless cops that we have here in Oregon. And so then he shows his yard. So he has his little 2-year-old. They were out in the yard, him and his 2-year-old. And his 2-year-old, I think, was sitting like a little picnic table or something, playing. And some man comes running up to his little 2-year-old naked. And so the guy goes tearing off, run over to his kid, grabs his kid, covers his kid's eyes. It's like, you see, why do we, I don't know. There's something like, I mean, maybe you don't want your 2-year-old to see some buck-ass naked stranger or something, but I don't know. There's something also strange about why are we so scared of nudity? And, but anyways, we have a lot of weirdo perverts. And so, you know, we got that situation. It's all coming to the surface. And so he called the cops thinking, you know, like, this isn't okay. You're trespassing. You're on my property. You're out here exposing yourself to my child. So this is no good. He calls the cops, and the cops are just like, well, it's not illegal. You know, you can do that. It's fine. You can run around naked in Oregon. Like, you don't have to have clothes on. Really, I wonder how many other states we can just walk around naked. Like, there's always been a thing like where women aren't even allowed to go shirtless, because there's lots of women who want to go shirtless. It's like, well, that's not fair. Men got to go shirtless. If you didn't look at my boobs like they were sex toys, then I would be able to go shirtless too. So we've had that going, like that's been going on for fucking decades. So I was surprised. I was really surprised when they said, oh, no, you're allowed to walk around in Oregon just naked. You just walk down the street naked. It's not against the law. You can run up to people naked. As long as you're not doing something sexual, then it's fine. Okay. That's a lot of shade in there, isn't it? A lot of gray in there. So, I mean, I don't know. It's all by intent, I guess. Are you just running around free as a naked person, or are you trying to expose your genitals to everybody? And so, anyways, but the market thing, so this one guy on the market thing, he was saying, because the housing thing, that's crashing. And this whatever with Buffett and Wall Street and him selling and buying and all this weird stuff. And then the coin, especially when it's a part of the rock that's black, like, of course it's going to go down. And so this person was saying that the coin is going to start going down, and that's going to affect Wall Street, and so that is all about to happen. And he's like, well, I mean, it's about to go, which again to me makes it feel like, okay, the economy is about to crash, so that will be, we'll own our houses outright then. Like, they can't take your house. Like, but I'm still thinking it's already like that, because still, you know, so, we'll see how it plays out. But so if it starts being, if you start hearing about, the coin is dropping and people are trying to dump it off, and be seeing it as like, okay, so that means like there's more action going. This is going to lead to the next thing, because it's going to start dropping. It's all going to go somehow together, like however it goes. And just like I had said about this fucking thing with Donald, now you've got other officials in other states making charges on the people who did that against him. So I said, this is all just to show more corruption. It's all about this corruption, and it's exposing it, and drawing people's attention, because so much of this stuff can be happening and nobody's paying attention. They drew all of us in, and we all started paying attention, and that started rippling out because we started talking about it. And then other people started looking at us like we're wackadoo and we're negative and we're downers and all that stuff. And so, but the energy was already going. We were already in, so it has already drawn attention. And so the more stuff that happens, the more it brings more attention. And they, Donald's name always brings in a lot of attention. And so, like I said, he's like a catalyst for so many of these events. Like, so you think like, oh, see what he's doing? See, that's so illegal. That's so corrupt. I can't even believe it. And then it's going to come out like, oh, he didn't even do that. These judges are just going after him. These DAs, all these people are going after him because they're a part of the DS, and they have got to shut down anyone trying to expose them. And so then when it shows that he didn't do this stuff, then it's going to show who really did, and it's people who they have more are in support of. Like, so even though I think most of them at this point would say, Joe doesn't have any base support, I think that, he doesn't have any base support. Like, if the people who are supporting him, they are not paying any attention or something about what's going on in the world, so it will be more drama to get them to see, so that they can see. So there's a lot of drama around that whole thing, the political shifts and stuff that have to happen. Oh yeah, but the thing on the music thing that was getting me yesterday, I was like, all these videos I kept seeing and seeing and seeing of these people going down and who they're talking about and stuff like that. I started being like, man, this is kind of feeling like an attack right now on darker skinned people. Like, it's pretty intense. And I mean, at least, yeah, they got Eminem in there, kind of shake things up with the color or something, but damn, because it's not all just dark people. Like, what color is fucking Weinstein? What color is Epstein? I'm like, so, but man, they are really heavy on the darkness right now, which I don't know. There seems something strange about it. Like, when are they going to start with the, Gaga and there is like some arguing, some throwing shade like right now of I don't know. I don't even know when she said it, but this is the stuff that, is coming to the surface. Cher's attitude towards Madonna, or all these, like Mariah against J-Lo. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then when you see him, it was like they tried to make J-Lo into the cheaper version of Mariah or something. Mariah is very diva. Like, she's very, like, J-Lo's only, 2.0 of where Mariah is on her self-love. And Mariah knows that she's super talented and she loves herself, like beyond what most people understand of love themselves. Like, she's heavy, I think, probably in the ego or something, but I don't know. She could be really, but from things that I've seen in her, she's pretty much got herself up on top of a pedestal. And where J-Lo is trying to put herself. But there's stuff between them. Like, even I don't know, people ask Mariah, what do you think about her? And she's just like, I don't even know her. And then J-Lo's like, oh, she knows me. Oh my God. She knows who I am. We've met. It's like, some stuff is so petty, but J-Lo, she's going like down, down, down. Like, there's more stuff going out on her and her involvement. She carried the weapon into the thing where the lady got in the face in the bar. So she's involved in that. She's involved in a whole bunch of stuff. And a lot of people are saying this whole, big divorce shenanigan is to try and take the view and change it. So not everybody's talking about this other stuff, but you're not going to be able to get away from the other stuff. The other stuff is going. These people are going to be going down. And so she's involved in, some criminal shit. And Madonna, like, fuck, like so many of these people. And so we still have all them to go through. Like, man, it's weird. And I don't know how it's going to keep going. And it's going to, because it's going to keep going, and it's going to go into more actors. And because it's already in with the actors and stuff, and the stuff with Kim and their family, like, they're all going down. And this whole big show about the Lion King and all that stuff, it's all just to bring attention on these people as they go down. And now, I guess, the little girl, what is she, like 9 years old or something? The Lion King girl. What is her name? Northwest. Because you got Blue Ivy, that's Jay-Z's. And you got Northwest, that's Kanye's. And you got, I still can't think of the one kid's name that is Will Smith's. But now all three of these kids have come out and said that they were, like, given to Diddy. I was like, what in the hell with these people? Especially, like, his freak out parties have been going for a long time. Like, this guy's not gentle. This guy's not, like, loving and kind. And you're just turning over your kid? A 9-year-old? Oh, fuck. Oh, man. I don't know. There is I don't know, too much. There's a lot of bad stuff that's gone on with other colored people. And I just feel like, man, they're really pushing on this one thing so hard. And I don't know if it is because however everything is going, it's like a starting place. It's not where it's going to end. It's going to keep going and take down more and more people. Like, it's going to link more and more people. Because Jamie, he's, we don't think of him as a singer. We think of him as an actor. So that's going to start bringing in more stuff with him. So he's already all involved. There's more stuff coming out with his involvement with Sean. And so that's going to link in more with the actors and stuff. And I saw this video the other day that I was just like, what? I didn't see this one coming either. So this person was doing this breakdown on George Clooney's wife, which they always made like, oh, she's so sophisticated and she's so beautiful. And, you know, finally she got him. And, you know, he was a bachelor forever. And now there's this video of, it was like Matt Damon on, I don't know, Jimmy Kimmel or one of those shows. And it was, they were talking, it must have been when like Ocean 11 was out or something. And he was talking about Brad Pitt and George Clooney and stuff. And so it was when Brad wasn't married to Angelina. And they were still putting pressure on him. Well, you guys got to get married. We'll get married when gay people can get married. If you don't remember, that was their theme. And so they wouldn't get married. And so whatever the interviewer was saying something to Matt Damon, he goes, yeah, well, they'll get married when George Clooney marries his boyfriend. And then it's like, oh, okay, so George is gay. And then they start showing the breakdown of this person who he married. And even when she was pregnant, and her hips, she does not have girl hips. There's nothing about this person's body that is female. And then even when they go up and show the face, it's like, oh my gosh, that does. And then they show like how tall the person is, which George Clooney, I think, is like 5'10" or something. And so I don't know how tall this woman is. You know, I'm a tall woman, so if I put on heels, you know, I'm very tall. So, you know, I'm not going to just say, well, it's obviously a man because she's tall. I just saw a woman getting interviewed by this a tall guy. He'd stopped her in the streets, and he's 6'9". And so he asked her how tall she was, and she said, well, she's 6'1", but she, with her heels on, she was wearing heels. So she said, I'm 6'4" with my heels. And so, you know, she's a girl. There's lots of tall girls. I've got tall granddaughters, and I've got tall daughters. And so I don't automatically think, oh, well, that's a guy. It's too tall. Must be a guy. But there's other things what they break down of like how women's bodies are and how men's bodies are. But then I also have like, I don't know, whatever they call like an athletic build or something, because you don't have those same kind of curves. God, my stomach is growling like crazy. Oh, hour and a half, and I'm just still rambling away. So, oh my God, what? Anyways, so that one was surprising, but it was like the same thing as when all of a sudden, when I realized Michelle was a guy. Because I thought Michelle was a woman the whole time. And I didn't ever even notice how tall and how big she was. Like, when people started showing all these videos of her walking next to other people and stuff, is like, oh my God. What got me was when Ellen showed her shopping with her. I was like, look, this person's like a linebacker. This person's fucking huge. And so anyways, that's how it was when I saw the person with George. All of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I think that is a guy. It's like, why are they all fucking lying to us all the time? Why, you know, I can see, because I guess now even, what's his name? Jack, he's real popular. He plays like that wolf guy on, the superhero movies. What is his name? He's in lots of movies. I can't think of his name. But he was always married to this woman who was older. And she was like from the music business. But people all looked at him as like a sex symbol and like, what's he doing with her? You know, she doesn't look good. And so it was really kind of mean. But apparently they got divorced and he's moved in his boyfriend. So he was always gay. And I knew way back when I was younger, like Rock Hudson. I don't remember who all was gay. Because there was Rock Hudson, Cary Grant, Clark Gable. There was these ones, but I think it was Rock Hudson was the one that they made him hide who he was. And so it could be like that. Like the people who are giving them money, like if you want to be in our movie, you're going to, you know, represent the way we tell you to represent. We want a sex symbol guy. And so, you know, not a gay guy. And so we want all the women to like him. So they use this stuff, you know, because then, you know, George is speaking to the women, He's telling the women what to do and think without it being aggressive, because they all love him and trust him. So they set this up like this. But so if they make all these people, like, I don't, I don't, Barack is such a like so many people look at him as like so evil, and I look at him as like a robot. Like he was created. He was created to be what he is. And so, I don't know. I mean, and that's his boyfriend from like college. Like they were together for a long time. So then you could also think like, well, he is pretty, I mean, he's been with this person for a long, long time, even living this charade of life, telling us all like, and lying to us. It's the whole thing is, it's just so weird on some of this stuff, where, especially at a time of learning to live your truth. Maybe that was, oh, Hugh Jackman, yeah. And maybe that was a part of why Hugh Jackman, it was like the feeling of not being authentic, not being real was such a heavy burden. Like I would think all these people, if they're married to people who are not the right, like that they would just be like, I just want to tell my truth. I'm like, yeah, we're guys and we love each other, and get over it. And you know, but it's all this controlled division that these people have got us under. And so many of these people are willing to hide their identity in order to make money. And that is the part where your soul wants to look at yourself. What are you willing to hide? What are you willing to do for this? What are you willing to do for that? That's all of your own inner showing. It's what you're showing yourself. And that's the part that you need to be paying attention to of yourself. But so there's going to be more of these people. It won't just be like, Michelle. I don't know, unless there's going to be more of these guys that are married, but they married guys that dress up as girls or got surgery. Like, I think, well, obviously, Michael didn't get the bottom surgery. I mean, because we've all seen that wingle dangle and dresses and shit. Like, that's part of what we've all seen. And so I don't know. It's all just so weird. It's all so weird. Our whole life is opening up in a whole new direction of understanding. I mean, the lies and the trickery that has gone on. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes it's just so weird. It's like I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna stop. I feel like I'm just kind of I don't know. I feel just weird. I feel weird. Everything feels weird. And who knows? Maybe today we're gonna have the Cascadian earthquake, and that's gonna be how things are gonna go. Like, it seems like there's gonna be the money crashing and all of this exposing all these criminals, but we do still have this stuff going with the weather and all of that. So we do have all these things that still have to change. The land masses are going to keep changing, and everything is going to keep going until it's not. And I don't know when that is. It just feels like, to me, it's getting closer and closer to this thing of everything flipping the other direction. And I just keep thinking, once things flip the other direction, it's going to feel better. Whatever all this stuff is, it's going to feel better. There's going to be a lot of loss. There's going to be a lot of reflection, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of stuff that's going to go on. But it's also going to be like, you're not going to owe your bills. And that's going to be such a relief for so many people, because so many people, like, yeah, I mean, there's people who will sell their kids to pay their bills. So that's where we're at in this world. And that's where, so you got to just remember, love yourself, love everyone, you gotta love everyone, and not judge them. You gotta just love them. They're learning just like we are, and have a loving day, because it's up to you. It's how you've got to look at things. You've got to figure out how to make your day the best day it can be. So love yourself, love everyone, and have a loving day, and I'll talk to you later.